The aliens stepped out of their transport pod onto the green lawn of Seoul International University. The morning sun felt warm against their different-colored skins. Yuna, their blue-scaled leader, blinked her large eyes as she took in the busy campus scene. "Remember what Professor Dak told us," Yuna said to her four companions. "Earth is classified as a death world. The gravity is stronger, the weather more extreme, and the life forms more resilient than what we're used to." Kyo, a tall being with iki, transparent skin that showed his glowing organs, nodded. "The humans evolved in these harsh conditions. That's why they're considered so tough." The 5 alien students had been chosen from thousands of applicants for this historic exchange program. They were the first non-humans to study at a Earth university, and they'd spent 2 Earth years learning human languages and customs to prepare. "Our guide should be here soon," said Taiho, the group's communications specialist. His 6 tentacles twitched nervously. "I hope we don't stand out too much. We're 7-foot-tall aliens with scales, tentacles, and glowing insides," said Minji, the smallest of the group with her silver fur and 4 arms. "We're going to stand out." As they waited, Yuna noticed something strange. All around them, humans were walking quickly, many holding small containers. They moved with purpose, occasionally raising these containers to their mouths. Most interesting was the line of humans that stretched out of a small building nearby. The humans stood patiently, though many checked their wrist devices and shifted their weight from foot to foot. "Look at that," Yuna pointed. "Those humans seem to be waiting for something important, yet many appear to be late for their morning knowledge sessions. Why would they waste valuable time standing in line?" Before anyone could answer, a human approached them. She was small compared to their heights, with black hair tied back and a friendly smile. "Hello, I'm Jiwoo, your campus guide. Welcome to Seoul International University." She bowed slightly, then straightened. "How was your journey?" The aliens returned the greeting. Yuna noticed that Jiwoo also carried one of those containers. A rich, bitter smell came from it that made Yuna's scales tingle slightly. "Our journey was acceptable," Yuna replied. "But I am curious about something, Jiwoo. Many humans here are carrying containers like yours. What is inside them?" Jiwoo looked down at her container as if she'd forgotten she was holding it. "Oh, it's just coffee." She took a sip and sighed happily. "Most of us need it to function properly in the morning." "Need?" asked Taiho, his translator implant working to make sense of this. "Is it medicine, a required nutrient?" Jiwoo laughed. "Not exactly. It's a drink made from ground coffee beans mixed with hot water. It contains caffeine, which helps wake us up and stay alert." Yuna exchanged glances with her fellow students. Their research hadn't mentioned this important substance. "If I may ask," Yuna said carefully, "why are those humans willing to be late to their classes just to obtain this coffee?" Jiwoo looked over at the line. "The campus cafe makes the best coffee around. Worth waiting for. Would you like to try some?" The aliens looked at each other nervously. They had been warned about consuming Earth substances without proper analysis. "Perhaps another time," Yuna said diplomatically. "First, we should see our living quarters and classroom locations." As they walked across campus, they passed 3 more lines of humans waiting for coffee. Jiwoo finished her drink and tossed the container into a recycling bin. "I'll probably need another one before my afternoon classes," she said casually. "Sometimes I drink 5 or 6 cups a day during exam periods." Yuna made a mental note to research this substance further. If Deathworlders found this coffee so necessary that they organized their daily routines around it, perhaps it contained properties unknown to galactic science. This strange human obsession might be the first major discovery of their exchange program. Minho sat in the laboratory at Seoul International University, his crystalline body reflecting light in rainbow patterns across the walls. He carefully placed a drop of coffee onto a sensor plate, watching as the analysis machine hummed to life. For the past week, he had been studying this strange human beverage. The 5 alien exchange students had been puzzled by the humans' dedication to coffee since their arrival on Earth. As a Proxian with natural abilities in biochemistry, Minho took on the task of understanding its chemical properties. The machine beeped, showing the results on a screen. Minho's crystal facet shifted in what would be a frown on a human face. Fascinating, he whispered, and concerning. Across campus, Do-Yun floated above a small table in a busy coffee shop. His blue, squid-like body drew stares from human students, but he was too focused on his observations to notice. He had spent hours each day for the past week watching humans in their natural habitat, consuming coffee. His 8 eyes recorded everything: how humans ordered different varieties, the special language they used, the money they spent, and the social interactions that happened around this drink. Back at their shared apartment that evening, the 5 alien students gathered for their weekly meeting. Yuna, their blue-scaled leader, called the group to order. "Friends, let's share what we've learned about human culture this week," she said. "Minho, you've been analyzing coffee. What have you discovered?" Minho projected data from his crystalline body onto the wall. Chemical structures appeared in glowing colors. "This substance contains a compound called caffeine, which is technically a neurotoxin," Minho reported. "My analysis shows it evolved in plants to kill insects that tried to eat them, yet humans consume it in massive quantities." "A toxin," gasped Minji, her silver fur standing on end. "Are they poisoning themselves?" "Not exactly," said Minho. "Human bodies process it differently. The caffeine blocks sleep signals in their brains and triggers energy release. It's like a mild version of a proxion battle stimulant, but humans use it daily." Taiho's tentacles curled in surprise. "Is that safe?" "Humans have adapted to tolerate it," Minho explained, "but they become dependent. Without it, they experience headaches and fatigue. What's most interesting is that the effect lessens with regular use, so they must consume more and more to feel the same energy boost." Do-Hyun floated forward, his blue tentacles moving in excitement. "That explains the behaviors I've observed." He shared his own recordings from coffee shops around campus. "The humans have built elaborate social structures around this drink," Do-Hyun said. "There are specialized shops with complex brewing methods. Different preparation styles have different status values. Some drinks cost 5 times more than others, despite containing essentially the same substance." The aliens watched footage of humans standing in long lines, waiting patiently. "Humans will stand in line for 20 minutes, noted Do-Hyun, just to pay excessive amounts for slightly different variations of the same toxin. They even judge each other based on their preferred coffee types." "Have you noticed how they schedule meetings for coffee?" added Taiho. "The drinking seems secondary to the social connection." Yuna considered this information. "So coffee serves multiple purposes in human society: a stimulant, a social lubricant, and a status symbol. No wonder it's so important to them." "There's something else," Minho said quietly. "I've been monitoring our guide Jiwoo's biological responses. When she drinks coffee, her brain activity spikes in the reward centers, the same parts that activate during pleasurable activities. I believe coffee actually makes humans feel good. A substance that wakens, energizes, and brings pleasure," Yuna summarized. "No wonder they're obsessed. But I wonder, what happens if a non-human tries it?" The 5 aliens looked at each other nervously. The question hung in the air, tempting and dangerous. Finals week arrived at Seoul International University with a wave of stress and sleepless nights. The alien exchange students noticed a change in the humans around them. Students walked faster, talked less, and carried larger containers of coffee. Haiwon, a human student who had befriended the aliens during their biology class, sent them a message one evening. "I'm organizing an all-night study group for quantum mechanics. Our final exam is tomorrow morning. Would you like to join us? We could use your help, especially Minho with his crystal brain." The aliens agreed, partly out of friendship and partly out of scientific curiosity. How did humans handle long periods without sleep? On their home planets, skipping rest cycles was dangerous to health and mental function. They arrived at the library's study room at 8 in the evening. Haifun had already set up the space with textbooks, tablets, and a large coffee maker in the corner. "Thanks for coming," she said, looking tired but smiling. "I brought plenty of snacks and coffee to keep us going all night." 3 other human students joined them. As the night went on, the aliens watched in fascination as the humans consumed cup after cup of coffee. By midnight, Yuna counted that Hayuwon had drunk 5 cups. "Aren't you feeling sick from so much caffeine?" Yuna asked. Hewon laughed. "My body is used to it. During finals, I practically live on coffee. It's the only way to study enough. The most surprising thing was how well the humans maintained their focus. Despite having been awake for over 16 hours, they continued solving complex quantum mechanics problems with barely any mistakes. Their brains should be slowing down, whispered Minho to Yuna. But the coffee seems to override their natural need for sleep. Around 2 in the morning, most of the aliens were feeling tired. Do-hyun, the blue squid-like centaurian, floated near the coffee maker, watching it brew another pot. The rich smell filled the room. "I wonder," he said quietly to himself. While the humans were busy arguing about a difficult problem, Do-hyun extended one tentacle and dipped its tip into a cup of coffee that had cooled. He only absorbed a few drops through his skin. The effect was immediate and alarming. Do-hyun's normally blue skin began flashing with bright rainbow colors. His 3 hearts started racing so fast that the others could hear them beating. "Do-hyun!" Yuna shouted, rushing to him. "What's happening?" But Do-hyun didn't seem distressed. His 8 eyes were wide open, and he moved with incredible speed to the whiteboard. He began writing equations faster than anyone could follow, his tentacles a blur of motion. "I see it now," he said, his voice unusually high and fast. "The quantum field equations make perfect sense. The problems from chapters 12 through 15, I can solve them all." The humans and aliens watched in shock as Do-hyun filled board after board with perfect solutions to problems they had been struggling with for weeks. His mind seemed to be working at impossible speeds. This continued for about 10 minutes. Then, just as suddenly, Do-hyun stopped. All his colors faded to a pale blue, and he sank slowly to the floor. "Do-hyun." Minji touched him gently with her furry hand. "Are you okay?" Do-hyun didn't respond. He had fallen into a deep sleep, almost like a coma. The aliens rushed him back to their apartment. They monitored his vital signs, which appeared stable but extremely slow. Nothing they tried would wake him. "This confirms our theory," Yuna declared, after consulting with medical experts from their home worlds via space communication. Coffee contains compounds that interact with different species in unpredictable and potentially dangerous ways. On most civilized worlds, this would be classified as a dangerous substance. Do-hyun remained in his hibernation state for 3 full days. When he finally awoke, he remembered everything, including the solutions he had worked out during his caffeine-induced brilliance. "It was amazing," he told his friends weakly. "My mind was working faster than ever before, but I would not recommend the experience. The crash afterward was unpleasant." The aliens decided to keep this incident secret from the university officials. But they all made a solemn promise: no more coffee experiments. After learning about Do-hyun's dangerous reaction to coffee, the alien students decided to study the substance more carefully. Ji-ho, who resembled a brown grasshopper with 2 pairs of delicate wings, took special interest in the historical aspects. His species valued knowledge of the past, believing it revealed patterns for the future. Ji-ho spent days in the university library, reading everything about coffee's history on Earth. He searched through digital archives, scanned old books, and interviewed human professors who specialized in trade history. What he discovered shocked him. One evening, Ji-ho rushed into their apartment, his wings buzzing with excitement. "Friends, you won't believe what I've found," he said, setting up his presentation device. "Humans have fought actual wars over coffee." The other aliens gathered around as Ji-ho showed images of old sailing ships, plantations, and battle maps. Coffee first became popular in human history about 500 years ago, Ji-ho explained. As demand grew, powerful nations fought to control the regions where coffee grew best. They built ships, conquered lands, and created trading companies, all for these beans. Yuna's scales rippled with surprise. They fought wars over a drink? Not. Just was, Ji-ho continued. Coffee changed human work patterns. Before coffee became common, many humans drank alcohol with meals, even breakfast, because water wasn't safe. Alcohol made them sleepy. When they switched to coffee, they became more alert and productive. Minho's crystal face reflected the light as he tilted his head. So coffee helped humans work longer and think more clearly. Exactly. Ji-ho clicked to the next image, showing old factories and offices. During their industrial revolution, coffee helped humans work longer hours. It fueled their scientists and thinkers. I believe coffee might be partially responsible for humanity's unusually rapid advancement. The aliens discussed this theory late into the night. Could a simple plant have helped push humans forward faster than other species evolved? It seemed impossible, yet the evidence was compelling. 2 weeks later, the alien students presented their research to Professor Dak and other faculty members who had joined the exchange program. They shared their findings about coffee's chemical properties, social importance, and historical impact. In conclusion, Jiho said at the end of his section, coffee appears to be more than just a beverage to humans. It has shaped their history, economy, and possibly even their rate of technological advancement. The professors asked many questions, especially about Do-hyun's experience with caffeine. They seemed concerned by how strongly the substance had affected his Centaurian biology. The next day, Yuna received an urgent message from home. The Galactic Council, the governing body for all spacefaring species, had been monitoring their research. "The Council is concerned," said her supervisor in a video call. "They've announced plans to restrict Earth's exports, potentially including coffee, due to concerns about introducing dangerous substances to other worlds." Yuna gathered her friends to share the news. "The Council thinks coffee is too dangerous to allow in galactic trade," she explained. "If they classify it as a controlled substance, Earth's new status in the galactic community could be at risk." "But that's not fair," said Minji, her silver fur standing on end. "Yes, it affected Do-hyun strongly, but it's perfectly safe for humans." "The Council doesn't understand coffee's cultural importance," agreed Taiho. "This could damage relations with humans just as they're joining galactic society." Jiho looked thoughtful. "We need to explain that coffee isn't just a drug to humans. It's part of their identity. Taking it away would be like taking away a Proxian's crystalline growth supplements." Minho's body dimmed at the thought. Without those supplements, his people couldn't form new crystal layers. A painful condition. "We need to show the Council both sides," Yuna decided. "Yes, caffeine can be dangerous to some species, but coffee's importance to human culture and productivity can't be ignored. We need more data, and we need it quickly." The warning lights flashed red across the Galactic Academy campus. A siren wailed, echoing through the buildings. Students of all species ran in confusion as the ground shook beneath them. Professor Dak's voice came over the emergency system. "Attention all beings. The Academy's ancient defense system has activated accidentally. We are trapped in a time-dilated field." The 5 alien exchange students gathered with other Academy members in the main hall. Professor Dak explained the situation using simple terms. The defense system, built thousands of years ago, created a bubble where time moved differently inside than outside. Inside, they experienced normal time. Outside, time moved very slowly. "The field will collapse in about 5 days, Professor," Dak said gravely. "When it does, the energy release will destroy everything inside, us included." "Can we shut it down?" asked Yuna. "Yes, but it requires continuous work at the control center. The system needs constant adjustments as the field changes. The work will take at least 3 days without breaks." The gathered aliens looked at each other with worry. No known species could work for 3 days straight without rest. Even taking shifts, the complex calculations needed full attention that tired minds couldn't provide. "We can do it," said a voice from the back. It was Hyeon standing with several human students, including Jiwoo. "Humans can stay awake that long if necessary." "Impossible," said Professor Dak. "No sentient being can function properly after more than 1 day without rest." Hyeon smiled. "You forget what we have." She held up a large container. "Coffee. Lots of it." Despite doubts from the Academy staff, no better solution presented itself. A team formed, 10 human students led by Hyeon and Jiwoo, with Minho and Yuna joining to help with calculations. They set up in the control center, a circular room filled with ancient technology. The humans immediately unpacked supplies, food, water, and enormous amounts of coffee. They brought brewing equipment, filters, and bags of beans. "We'll work in pairs," Hyeon explained. 2 hours on, 2 hours rest, but no actual sleep. The coffee will keep us alert. The work began. The humans took turns making adjustments to the field controls while drinking cup after cup of coffee. Minho and Yuna helped with calculations but needed regular rest periods. The humans pushed forward without stopping. By the second day, Minho watched in amazement as Jiwoo completed a series of complex field equations despite having been awake for over 40 hours. "They haven't slept in 2 days," Minho said to Yuna during their rest period, "yet they're still functioning at high cognitive levels." "The coffee is keeping them going," Yuna replied. "I've never seen anything like it." By the third day, even the humans showed signs of extreme fatigue. Their hands shook, and dark circles appeared under their eyes, but they continued working fueled by increasingly strong coffee. "Just a few more hours," Haiwan said, her voice hoarse. "The field is stabilizing." When the final calculations were complete and the shutdown sequence initiated, the humans had been awake for nearly 72 hours straight. As the field collapsed safely around them, the human students finally allowed themselves to sleep, collapsing into chairs and on the floor. 2 weeks later, a special meeting of the Galactic Council convened to discuss Earth's status. The 5 alien students presented their complete research on coffee, including its role in saving the Academy. After much debate, the Council reached a decision. Coffee would be classified as a controlled performance enhancer, but with recognized strategic value. Earth received special permission to establish coffee trading posts throughout the galaxy, with appropriate warnings for non-human species. 5 years later, Yuna became a professor at the Galactic Academy. Her office, overlooking the campus gardens, contained many souvenirs from her time on Earth. The most special was a small coffee plant growing in a pot by her window. She never drank the coffee it produced. It remained too strong for her biology, but she kept it healthy and thriving. When new students asked about the plant, Yuna would smile and tell them the story of how a strange human obsession turned out to be an unexpected strength that saved hundreds of lives. It reminded her daily that differences between species weren't always weaknesses. Sometimes they were exactly what the universe needed.